Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man, and today it's a nice 140 degrees, so you know what that means. It's time to bale straw. So we're going to take the 77 and 107 rake and go rake the windrows that came out of the combine and try to get them to a manageable size so that the square baler can feed it in easy. So let's get started. As you can see, we could really use some rain. The old corn is pretty well rolled up. We did have to run a little bit down with the combine to get back here to cut the wheat, but one of these days I'll get around to trimming these trees back to where that won't have to happen. But if we don't get any rain, it's really not going to matter. The trick is to get just low enough to pick it up, but not so low that it gouges the ground. That's why my rake still has all its teeth left after about 15 years, and some people have to keep putting teeth on every year. It doesn't have to dig into the ground. Sometimes you gotta go back and forth a little bit. When you lower one side, it raises the other side, so I think we'll start with that. Well, here we are with the 88, and we're going to try to bale this. A tractor I've never used to bale with before, so we'll see how that goes. And almost no preparation on the baler, just pull it out of the shed, take the tarp off of it, and look it over real quick and go. So we'll see how long things hold together before they go very wrong. It's nice and cool today at about 143, so I'm sure that this will be just joyful. that task is done, amazingly, with only one bale that didn't tie. So that's pretty good. The wheat did not do good this year at all, and I knew that it wasn't going to because I planted it probably a month later than when I normally would. And it didn't come up for a long time, and then finally it snowed, and when the snow melted there was wheat, and I had planned on cutting it for hay, and then I talked myself out of that because this spring it looked pretty good. But as you can tell from the weeds that were in the field, like in the combining video, it just was pretty thin in spots. This here next to the woods, I guess deer wiped it totally out. There wasn't nothing here. This hasn't even been combined. This is just how it was. You can see that they kind of totally ate the tops off and just made a mess of it. And over here, this part of the field looked really good, but the wheat was kind of thin, and then over by the road, the wheat was thick, but it was full of weeds. So that doesn't really make any sense, but that's the way it worked for me. So I will never plant wheat again when it's November, and I'm almost to the point where I'll just never plant wheat again because I'm about over it. But I can sell the straw. People like straw, but I also feel there's good value for the ground of tilling the straw in. So that's really the only reason I've been planting wheat, is to try to improve the ground. And so I don't know, you know, it's a lot of work in the hottest part of the year, but time will tell whether it really improves anything for you or not. But I got a few bales, not very many, but I worked and worked to rake it together. It was so thin in places that I think I raked about 5 passes of the combine together to make one windrow, which is a trick I guess you can use. I've found if you've got wheat that has weeds that have come up through it, if you let it sit for like 2 days and let the weeds dry, and then you rake it over 2 or 3 times, usually you can get rid of most of the weeds because the straw will kind of fluff up in your windrow. And so that's something. I mean, maybe it's just in my mind, but it seems to work, and the straw turns out pretty good. So anyway, I've got a little bit of straw, and I got somebody who wants most of it, I think. So I think that's where we'll leave this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.